Hello everyone. It is a good day today, and I am bringing us environmental impact assessment procedure in Nigeria. Nigeria is a great country. It's a country in Africa. Just in case you're looking to do an environmental impact assessment in Nigeria, I just wanted to chat you a little on the procedures that is applicable in Nigeria. So I have this chart that is with me to show us what goes on in Nigeria when it comes to environmental impact assessment. So the Environmental Impact Assessment Act in Nigeria is the law that's being used to execute every environmental impact assessment in Nigeria. So the Eia Process Flowchart is what is presented here. You can see from the beginning the invitation to the initiation of project activity at the upper part of my chart. Initiation of project activity, and then you see collection and submission of EIA notification form and preparation of project proposal. So at this stage, you have a form in Nigeria that you have to fill that has to do with giving some preliminary information about your project, its location, its source of raw materials, etc., etc. So at this stage, you put together the form, you fill the form, and then you have your project proposal in form of a description of your project, just a preliminary description of your project, and have this submitted to the regulatory agency. The regulatory agency in Nigeria is the Federal Ministry of Environment. Okay. So the proponent, which is the project owner, which is the client, which is the organization looking to do EIA, is called the proponent. Okay, so the proponent develops a project proposal and submits it to the Federal Ministry of Environment. Next is the submission of project proposal to Federal Ministry of Environment for an initial environmental examination. So like I said earlier, this is submitted to the Federal Ministry of Environment, and they get to look at it and have an initial grasp of what the project is all about, and then begin to plan for the screening exercise. So the screening of project proposal leading to project categorization is done at the next stage. In Nigeria, there are about 3 to 4 categories of project. The first category, category 1, category 2, category 3, and then the no EIA option, which may be to have an environmental management plan instead of having an EIA. So this is how it goes in Nigeria, and the categorization is basically resolved based on the type of project, how sensitive the project is, how sensitive the location is, and so on and so forth. So the procedural guideline for EIA in Nigeria is sectoral as well. So each sector have the guideline guiding the procedures, how you're going to go about the implementation of the environmental impact assessment, and the step-by-step approach to how it's going to be done, and throughout the administrative processes. So that is available in the sectoral guidelines. So during this screening process, it is decided if you are going to do a full EIA or category 2 EIA or 3 EIA or no EIA at all. Okay. So when this is locked, you move to the preliminary assessment of impact study. This is done by a team of Federal Ministry of Environment visiting the site. Sometimes it's called site verification exercise or so, but the proponents, the regulator, and of course the environmental consult to ensure that, to have a preliminary assessment of the impacts, of your projects to the environment. Okay. So next is the scoping leading to. Sorry, this is not very clear. So scoping leading to the development of terms of reference. So there's a scoping exercise that has to be done to establish which stakeholders have to be consulted, what is the format for the consultation, what baseline data is required, to what extent is this baseline data required. So there's a comment here that interdisciplinary panel of experts, Federal Ministry of Environment, proponents, and all other public. So this is an open exercise. where you do some dialogue and look around to see what data is to be captured and what experts are required in the field. So at this point, you have the ecologists, the biodiversity specialists, and the hydrogeologists, the geologists, the hydrologists, you know, different professional disciplines. I mean, different professionals being at the site same time to look at what scope of work is going to be done on the environmental impact assessment. So the next is preparation of drafts final report, incorporating proceedings of public forum participation. So actually before the stage, there's going to be the on-site works that has to be done. This, I think that stage is skipped here. You have the data capturing that has to be done for wet and for dry season. This is also dependent on the category of the EIA that is being considered. So once the seasonal data is captured for wet and dry season, of course, by interdisciplinary group of people doing different studies, then you go to prepare, we go to the next stage for the preparation of the draft final report. After this is submitted to the Federal Ministry of Environment and interested stakeholders at the local, state, and federal level, you go to review of the draft EIA, which is a final review exercise that has to be executed, public forum for the communities, impacted persons, affected persons, interested persons. All of the parties required will come up at this stage to be a part of the process and air their views, and the document is being reviewed for appropriate correction or addendum or subtractions as the case may be. Okay, so we go for the preparation of final EIA. Yes, when all of the corrections are being incorporated, you go for the final EIA production and then submitted to the Federal Ministry of Environment, and then you have an environmental impact assessment issued. And then you have, in the course of that, environmental impact monitoring, like we call it IMM, impact mitigation monitoring, and so on and so forth. So this is done, and then the project is commissioned, and then an audit is launched. There's going to be environmental audit every 3 years of the life cycle of the project. This is a summary of how it goes in Nigeria. We'll bring you the more detailed version of this. This is just for your information. Thank you.